Scalise, of course, won the nomination this week after a secret ballot vote held behind closed doors on Wednesday by the House Republican Conference. Scalise just skated by, beating Jim Jordan, who, ironically, President Trump endorsed. Yeah, if that's not a signal, if that's not a green light for the Republican Party, I don't know what is. But nevertheless, the dolts in the Republican Party voted 113 to 99. The Republican Party leadership, of course. Those dolts voted 113 to 99 for Scalise. Now, the tally obviously left Scalise well short of the 217 votes he needs to secure the Speaker's gavel. But nevertheless, the Republican establishment gave him the nomination. And if you want to know why, here is a perfect example of what gets you leadership positions in Washington. Paul, roll the tape.
Sir, would you mind stopping to the camera, please? Good to see y'all. Looking forward to going in there. Obviously, we have a very important vote. It's really, really important that this Congress get back to work. We select a speaker, go to the House floor, get to 218, and then get the House working again. And the first order of business under Speaker Steve Scalise is going to bring a strong resolution expressing support for Israel. We've got a very bipartisan bill, the McCall-Meeks resolution, ready to go right away to express our support for Israel. We've got to get back to work. Today we're going to do that. We're going to go get this done.
Obviously, what happened in Israel was horrific. All right. I mean, we can all agree on, well, unless we go to Harvard. If you go to Harvard, you're not going to. If you go to Harvard, it was all Israel's fault. But outside of Harvard University, outside of our sleeper cell universities, as I heard Michael Millerman put it, I think it's safe to say that we were all pretty shocked and outraged over what happened to so many innocent Israelis. I mean, we don't have to go all Ben Shapiro-y on it and demand World War III. But no question, the ISIS-like tactics of Hamas were horrific. But for heaven's sake, the number one priority? Why on earth is it the number one priority of a Steve Scalise Republican Congress, the very first order of business, as he put it, to pass a resolution about something happening 10,000 freaking miles from here? What the hell is the matter with these people? Again, I don't want to minimize the horror of what happened, but this globalist obsession with anything and everything outside our own borders. Our nation is suffering a catastrophic, unprecedented invasion by the millions, with hundreds of thousands of our own citizens dying every year from overdosing on the very drugs smuggled in through that invasion. And the first freaking order of business by Republicans is to pass a resolution over the murderous violation of someone else's border? Does this idiot even know what America first means? And so obviously it shouldn't surprise you that Scalise is totally pro-Ukraine funding. Scalise is absolutely pro-Ukraine, pro-military industrial complex, pro-Zelensky, rah-rah Zelensky, yay, yay. And so Scalise speakership means money continuing to flow unabated into Ukraine. In fact, the utterly repulsive Adam Kinzinger endorsed Scalise, saying he's the best choice for continuing to support Ukraine. Yay, yay, yay. Which, gang, thankfully, is precisely why Scalise is now officially gone. Those establishment politics, as it turns out, are getting challenged like never before. We, the people, are on to this. We get it now. Yeah, it took us a few years, didn't it? We get it now. Thank God. MAGA forces in the Republican Party that far outweigh anything the donor class establishment can muster. Those very MAGA forces are rising up in mass and pushing back against the Republican establishment. And now we've got 2 defeats in a row. We took out McCarthy, and now we just took out Scalise. Make no mistake, Scalise is gone precisely because of the backlash from Patriots, from the Republican rank and file. Actually, the rabidly anti-Trump Washington Times is reporting. They hate reporting. They're clenching their teeth as they're reporting it. But they are reporting that a number of Republican representatives who voted behind closed doors for Scalise ended up distancing themselves from him after they got an earful from their MAGA constituents. So the grassroots backlash forced a number of Republicans to change course on their ridiculous decision to go with another establishment RINO. So I've heard it put this way. I think it's really funny. Politicians, when all is said and done, politicians are just windbags, right? Politicians are just windbags. So if that's the case, make sure you're the wind. Make sure you're the wind. And it appears that that's exactly what happened over the last 24 hours. There was a groundswell of opposition from Patriots pushing back against this ridiculous decision to replace one RINO with another.
If you're a business owner, you have got to meet my good friend Josh Zaglowski, co-founder of ERC Specialists. He's got an amazing payroll protection company exclusively dedicated to understanding and maximizing what's called the CARES Act Employee Retention Credit. If you're a small business owner looking to get up to $26,000 per employee back from bumbling Biden, click on that link in the description below to see if you qualify today. This is an absolutely amazing opportunity.
And don't get me wrong, I got to be honest. I actually liked Steve Scalise. Okay, yes, he's a RINO, but he's not as bad as McCarthy. McCarthy was beyond shameless in terms of his love for the establishment swamp. McCarthy is a California Republican, whereas at least Scalise is from Louisiana. He's from deep red territory, which at least tempered his RINO tendencies. So he's not as bad as McCarthy, but regardless, as you can see, he does the donor class's bidding, and the donor class is all about transferring billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars overseas, and then they get a cut, just like Joe and Hunter have been doing for over a decade. But regardless, he's gone, and he's gone because MAGA forces are now rising up like never before and demanding their party back. So then that means then that raises the question, who replaces him? Who's going to get this speakership? And we've got a few names floating around. There's Lee Zeldin of New York is a name that's being floated around, which would be pretty interesting. Kevin Hern of Oklahoma. Mark Green of Tennessee. But obviously no one comes close to the big two. Either Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan or, of course, number 45, soon to be number 47 himself, the one and only Donald J. Trump. In fact, Representative Troy Nehls of Louisiana, he's already nominated President Trump for speaker and is once again pushing Trump now that Scalise is out. And his reasoning is very simple. If we can't rally around the leader of our party, the de facto leader of our party, then who can we rally around? Trump is the leader of our party. He's available. He's willing to be speaker. I mean, let's do it. And for the reasons we saw at the beginning of this video, it'll be freaking epic. It'd be awesome. Imagine Trump with subpoena power, right? We talked about this in our live stream when I was out in Dallas. When I landed, the plane lands, and I find out we ousted McCarthy, the first time in history the speaker's been ousted like that. So we just did the live stream. We had a great time of that live stream. And, we were just, I said right there, Trump for speaker. Nominate Trump was trending on the hashtag nominate Trump, trending on Twitter. And I was like, can you imagine him with subpoena power? Can you imagine him putting Jack Smith right in front of him saying, all right, bub, let's see what you got.